Okay, well, technical difficulties, I would say, operator error. So I think I am on now. Hey, Lazy Larry, thanks for joining me. Yeah, I had technical difficulties. I'm not sure. It seemed like everything went wrong all at the same time. Windows decided it wanted to update, and then I'm having problems with my virtual background. So the whole thing crashed and burned. It took me about, what, 30 minutes or so, 20, 25 minutes to figure out what was going on. I had to let Windows update, then I had to restart the computer, and I had one of my friends helping me virtually through. I had Sammy actually helping me. I'm not sure if Sammy's around now because Sammy shared the link of the original broadcast. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure Sammy's going to make it back. But anyway, you're here, so that's what's important. Anyway, uh, I thought um, I thought Chris's broadcast was kind of interesting today, and mainly I was looking at Knitband. I had no idea that Knitband had been traveling over to Thailand, and so I thought that was interesting. Yeah, I know. The background was great. I had an island background. When I went in and I tried to reload it, for after entering a new broadcast, I just couldn't get it to work. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong. So I'm gonna have to play with it, but I'm not sure if you could play with this thing offline. If you could set up the virtual backgrounds without going live first. I mean, that's what I thought I was doing before. But anyway, like I said, once I went live, Windows decided that it wanted to update right at that moment. I couldn't kill that update fast enough. I'm using Windows 10. So anyway, that's the story. I'm sticking to it. So I might have lost my audience. This is an experience. So I'll probably, if we don't get a few people on soon, I'll probably go ahead and kill this broadcast and go ahead and delete it. But anyway, it's a very very interesting experience indeed. Somebody else is here. I'm not sure exactly who else chimed in, but anyway, I was gonna chat just about anything. I mean, there's new developments going on with the Philippines and entry. Of course, everybody was waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I guess it did. I'm not sure it's a big deal. They had predicted, or several people had predicted, that they were going to require health insurance over in the Philippines before you could enter. And so uh, they entered. I guess they put up online a new set of rules, and then of course there aren't any links to any insurance companies. Nobody really knows what to do in order to get the insurance. So I suppose they're trying to set it up like Thailand, but quite frankly, Thailand is very organized and easier to understand. And I guess because the rules are so new in the Philippines, folks just aren't sure exactly what they need to do. So they should put up links pretty soon to insurance companies, where you can go and just click on the link and then purchase the insurance. Okay, yeah, they said it would be $35 US for 30 days. Okay, so it's $35 every 30 days, but who do you buy it from is kind of what I'm wondering, you know? And then the other part of the that people had questions about once you get by the insurance is, you know, they're talking about this thing again, International Certificate of Vaccination and by the World Health Organization. But if you look down here, it has the CDC logo on it. So I think they're being really, really flexible, you know, with how they're handling this. But and I hate to keep, boring everybody with this subject, but I understand that that they're accepting. They have an agreement with the United States to go ahead and accept our vaccination cards. I had purchased a whole bunch of these through the government bookstore because I thought I was going to have to transfer all the information of my vaccinations over for Minnie and I onto these international cards. So I don't know exactly what to do except to do all the above. Hey Sammy, thanks for hanging in there. Yeah, Windows decided to update right as I decided to go live. I forgot that an update was pending, and I had selected, do it later. I guess I wasn't paying attention. Things started updating right at the exact moment that I decided to go live. So that's a might bit embarrassing, but I'm not exactly a technical wizard. I probably I probably am not the most knowledgeable guy in the room right now. Anyway, so this vaccination thing and insurance thing popped up. Everybody has purchased everybody ran to purchase their tickets, of course, and so they have tickets to fly over, and then now they have to figure out where to go and buy this insurance. But a lot of people are depending on the airlines to go ahead and provide a link, and provide the information of how you're gonna go about purchasing that insurance. But as Lazy Larry pointed out, people are talking about it's only $35, so there must be an avenue of approach here that people have already figured out how to do it. So, but I haven't yet, and so hence my idea about. My mom lives in Los Angeles. I'm up here in Sacramento. Sammy, just so you know, California is one hell of a big place. To go from Sacramento to Los Angeles, if you're going to drive, it's a 6-hour drive. So my mom lives in LA and I'm here in Sacramento. My wife and I, Minnie, we were going to go down to LA to see my mom, and then probably we were going to spend a week visiting and saying our goodbyes, and then we were going to take off from LAX and then head over to the Philippines. But things are in such a disorganization. I thought, and we weren't planning on doing it for a couple more months. I retire soon, but we weren't planning on leaving until the end of June or the beginning of July. But we figured that since we understand the Thailand method so well, we would fly LAX into Bangkok or Phuket or another Thai city, and then I would show my wife what Thailand looks like. I've been there several times, and she wants to see it. She's been there once, but it was a very quick trip for a friend's wedding. So the whole thing was we were gonna fly into Thailand, and then we were gonna take care of all the business that the Philippines requires there, which I think I thought strategically it was going to be a better move. And I still kind of think that unless things materialize in the next few days, they give me more confidence that we could do a direct flight. Don't share my stream. Okay. Oh, done. You shared my stream. Thank you. Thank you. It's embarrassing, what happened, but you're going to make mistakes. So anyway, here's the other thing, Sammy. So the other thing was I had set up a virtual screen. You could see my green screen behind here. And so I had a couple of virtual pictures that I was going to superimpose onto that green screen. And then I thought to myself, well, another thing that could have happened around the same time is the resources, the computing resources weren't enough in order to sustain that virtual screen, the backdrop, and so everything froze. So now you were saying that you were able to see me and hear me and everything like that, but I was looking at it and I couldn't see or hear anything. Everything was totally, completely frozen in time, and the comment section wasn't operating at all. And so I thought, so it took me a couple of minutes to let Windows update and to remove the virtual screen and to get everything back functioning the way that it was supposed to. So anyway, it's a lesson learned. Oh, okay, you're giving food to okay, that's great. All right, so anyway, yeah, you got to feed your animals, that's for sure. So I got a couple of messages here on Messenger where people had they said, "Hang in there, Dan," and we'll be back. So anyway, people were waiting for that live stream, and then it didn't materialize. So Ruby was one of them. Rubylicious. I'm probably her. She doesn't know, but I'm probably her biggest fan. But anyway, she sent a comment. I truly appreciate your support. I'm gonna tell her so too. Thanks, Ruby, for your support. I truly appreciate it. So if you, Lazy Larry, if you haven't been over to Rubylicious channel there, that's another one that you might want to go to. Those are real folks, living their daily lives and then showing what it's like, living in the Philippines and the different challenges that they face on a daily basis. So anyway, so that is an interesting thing, about the Vax card. Also, here in California, we have the QR code. So what we do, so all the computers are connected in the healthcare industry, and what happens is you can go on the state website, put in your name, and give them some identifying information, and then what ends up happening is that it creates a QR code, and you can save it to your phone. So, but you could also print the QR code, and so I'm thinking that if you come to the Philippines with probably 3 or 4 or 5 different ways of entering, where you're meeting the requirements, then you're going to be good to go. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm going to get all the bases covered on that in between now and the time that my wife make the journey over to the Philippines. But like I said, we'll be, I kind of been watching a lot of, it never ceases to amaze me that people they don't seem to be tiring of watching people as they travel through places like Thailand and the Philippines. And so that kind of intrigues me. My whole idea was to share my journey. I know that it's that you hear a lot of people say this, that basically their main motivation was to keep a travel vlog of their adventures that they're able to share with other people that care to watch, and also their own family, so they have a video diary of, well, quite frankly, the history of your travels, and not only that, but the history of your life. And so that was the main objective here. But I get excited when I see that people, I'm not going to lie, I get excited when I see that people are getting 5,000 and 6,000 hits as they're walking through Chiang Mai and heading north and heading south through Hua Hin and Phuket and all those different places. People love, to relive those experiences if they already had them, but they also enjoy, I think, the dream, and they want to live life through your eyes and your adventures. And so a lot of people, they'll say that, this is their dream to travel as many different places all over the world. But I noticed that, man, when you go into Thailand, which I think at one time was the number one tourist destination in the world, Bangkok in particular, that man, you get the views, you get heck of views. And I also noticed that you can go to the same places and show them on YouTube over and over and over and over again, and people will still watch and still watch. And I find myself doing that. I'm going to admit to you, I enjoy if someone posts a video of just walking down Sukhumvit Road in Bangkok. I enjoy watching it so much, and no matter how many times different people show that same area of walking down Sukhumvit Road, I enjoy watching it, reliving the memories for the 4 or 5 times that I've been there, and I've done that. I mean, I walked all the way from Soi One all the way down to Ikamai, right underneath the BTS in the middle of the night, and I was amazed at how nice people were, how polite they were, and how I didn't have any fear of crime, or I didn't feel unsafe. And people said, "Man, that's a crazy thing to do in the middle of the night." And I wasn't drunk, by the way. I just would like to. I wasn't drunk, so I was sober, and I just decided, you know what? I'm going to see if I could walk from Soi One all the way down to Ikamai, right there. Where the BTS is, and then there's the bus stop. There's the bus station, all that. Just to see if I could do it and what it would be like. And people were the friendliest. I had no fear. I never felt unsafe. And I think that is one of the reasons why I love Thailand so much. It has a different sort of atmosphere than the Philippines. Although I will say this, right? Things are changing, and the Philippines are changing a lot. I don't know. I don't know how, the reason why or anything like that. But the very first trip I took to the big city of Manila was an interesting adventure, because most people talk about the culture shock, right? Well, usually the first reaction after landing in Manila, for the very first time, is that you feel like you're home. I've heard so many people talk about that. But it also is like a time machine. People are kind of like seeking that, going back in time when they were a kid. So, Sammy, you may be able to relate to this. I'm not sure, but Manila a few years ago, when I first started traveling there, it was like a time machine. You were going back in time to the way the United States used to be, probably during the 1950s and the 1960s. That jumps out at you really quickly. And so the older you get, anyway, this is my take on it. It's my idea for me. This is how it happens for me. The older I get is a better way to say it. The more I want to relive my youth, and that youth involves towns like Los Angeles that, believe it or not, the Manila reminds me a lot of the way Los Angeles looked going way back into the 1950s and 1960s. So I think that, there's part of me that, and I think others, they have the same experience that they've shared on YouTube. You're chasing your youth, and it's reminding you of home. And so you gravitate, that's why people gravitate to the Philippines. Now, Thailand has a whole different sort of thing going on, right? And the only way that I could explain it is if you go into a big city like New York or San Francisco on the West Coast, not too far from where I live here, what ends up happening is that you love this city metropolitan life. If I'm a little bit country, I said before, and a little bit rock and roll. I'm a country. I like the country, and I like the city. So that's why I adapt so well to being in the province as well as in the city. But if you're like that, then when you want that taste of that city life, and high-rise buildings and all that, you'll go to New York City and San Francisco and you'll say things like, oh yeah, I want to live here someday. This is great, right? Except for one thing, that is that it costs a hell of a lot of money to live in one of those cities. Yeah. And that's the problem. But you go to Manila and you go up in those twin towers there in Robinson's Plaza and Ermita, and you can rent one of those apartments, or you go to Newtown in Cebu or Mactan or anywhere around there, right? Lapu-Lapu, and you can get that same feeling for, I don't know, $400 or $500 a month, maybe, and that, and so the reason why Thailand is so attractive to me is because you get a little bit closer to that San Francisco, New York feel, because they have very nice infrastructure. They have that sky train that's amazing. And all the things that you think that we should have in the United States, they have in Thailand. And so you're attracted to not only that, but the inexpensive rents. You won't, you'll find buildings that'll take you up 30, 40, 30 floors, 18 floors anyway. Okay, I'm exaggerating. That you can get, that you can actually afford to live in, where you never ever could go near those in San Francisco or New York. So if you're a dreamer like me, and you want to live that kind of lifestyle, at least for a couple of, a couple of months out of the year, right? Or maybe even half a year. I I would like it for half a year. Well, then you're going to realize, what a beautiful place Thailand and certain parts of Manila and Cebu are. Because I mean, here's the thing. Let me lay it out to you, right? After the first week of living that sort of life in both Bangkok and Manila, I had a very, very similar experience, right? So we're coming down from these towers. In this case, since we are talking the Philippines as being the final destination, you're coming down the elevator shaft. The doors open, right, in Robinson's, and what's within a couple steps from those doors is the Starbucks, right? Well, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the Starbucks, because I like to support the local businesses, and I think, you have a whole bunch of coffee shops that have been found in the Philippines that are Filipino, in other words. So, I usually will generally seek those out. But the point is, you come down there and they would, after the first couple of days of being there, they already know me and know my order. And by, I would say, the fourth or fifth day, they're standing there with my cup of coffee in my hand, or in their hand, ready for me, calling me Sir Dan, here's your coffee. Well, you get, listen, you get that kind of service in the major cities in the United States. I'm not going to tell you any different, that you don't, but it comes at a huge price. It comes at a very, very high cost, and it's not a cost that I can afford to pay. You see, that's the whole thing. It's not money that I could afford to pay. Where people know your name and they know what your order is. You come down there and it's just the hospitality factor, right? So you get that in the Philippines. Now in Thailand, you get all the amenities of living in, multi-story or high-rise apartment building, including the view of the river, because there isn't an ocean in Thailand. You have to go a couple hours to get the ocean. I mean, there isn't an ocean in Bangkok. There's the river, and then you go, there's a river network, but the ocean is only 2 hours away, right? So it's as good as it gets, because you're overlooking the river from the high rise. Anyway, Larry says, Dan, I don't want to live in a city anywhere as large as New York or Manila. Would not mind living nearby. Yeah. Well, and of course, the beautiful thing about that, Lazy Larry, is that you do have great, I guess you would call them suburban neighborhoods surrounding those cities. And for example, in Manila, let's see, you have Cavite and those surrounding towns that are around there that are so culturally rich, where you'll feel comfortable. I grew up in a small town called La Puente in Southern California. Cavite and some of the surrounding suburbs remind me so much of home. So yeah, he prefers the countryside. So I love the countryside. Would I be living in it? Would I be living in a city like Bye Bye Leyte if I didn't like the countryside? But here's the thing about Bye Bye. Here's the thing. The expats are gravitating towards that city because it's affordable, and they're improving the infrastructure there so fast. It's sort of like a Dumageddon in the making. It's sort of like you could totally see it becoming a Dumageddon. They're building a mall. It's going to be a regional size mall. It's not going to be a huge mall like you'd find in the city, like Mall of Asia or something like that. But this is a mall that's going to have all the things that you need, especially Western amenities, if you know what I mean. That Starbucks will be in there and all the other crap that Westerners like. Anyway, that's going in there right now, and it's overlooking the ocean. So that's in progress. I notice they're not moving very quickly on that, but yeah. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of both the countryside and the city, is what I'm saying. Yeah, I love them both. Um, yeah, so cities like Dumaguete, that's kind of like what Bye Bye Leyte is becoming. It's becoming a lot like Dumaguete but each city and province and town, they have their own flavor. They have their own flavor that is unique to them. For example, Panglao, Panglao. My gosh, I'm trying to think, what do you compare Panglao to? And I would say you compare it to something like going up the Northern California coast on your way to Fort Bragg. I don't know if you've ever been in that part of the country, but that's what Panglao and parts of Bohol remind me of. And of course, Boracay it reminds me of the white sandy beaches of Southern California, or Maui, Hawaii. Hey, by the way, since I brought this up, just like to say that I never can figure why people spend so much money going to Maui when they could save a whole bunch of money and go 7,000 miles around the world and find all this beautiful white sandy beaches at a fraction of the price that they pay for going to Maui. I never could understand it. Drives me crazy. I learned this lesson really, really quickly as a young adult. It's okay to visit. As I'm not telling people don't go, I'm saying have the experience, but check it off your list. Go on your merry way. Continue on your journey of discovery. So Lazy Larry is saying my hometown is only 70,000 to 80,000 people. Yes, the town that I grew up, La Puente, California, it was a neighborhood known as Valinda. It was an unincorporated part of the county of Los Angeles. I know when I lived there, it had somewhere between 20 and 30,000 people. So everybody really did know your name. When I was a kid, I'd be walking to school. The school was about 4 or 5 blocks away, fairly close to home. But here's something that I'm guessing happened, and that was that I always wondered why my mom was waiting out there on the front lawn for me. Um, timing when I on the walk home, right? So I find out later that some of these moms, they had a network. They were stay-at-home moms like my mom, and they would phone ahead, right? And they would say, "Oh, Dan's on his way home. Daniel's on his way home. I just saw him pass my house." So my mom always knew. See, it was the kind of neighborhood where everybody watched out for everybody's kids. And there were no fences that separated backyards from each other. There were no fences. It was open. And so you would be playing with the kids, your neighbor and your neighbor's kids. And, It was a great time growing up. Wowee! Yeah, I mean, and so that's why. So why the Philippines? Yes, the Philippines. It's because that I'm reliving my youth. I'm just going to say it. I'm reliving my youth. It's such a beautiful thing, and the people are such beautiful people. It's not that Americans aren't. It's the idea that it's a time that seems to have passed us by here in the good old USA, and so you can go to different places like the Land of Smiles and the Philippines, and then you get the same flavor, the same feeling that you remember as a kid. Bo's Coffee is so. I think I mentioned on Sessa's you know uh, channel. I think I mentioned that in a comment that I like. I really enjoyed the early years before I got married. By the way, hanging out at Bo's Coffee Shop on the entrance, that entryway to Ayala Mall. So I would just sit there and hang out. Of course, I hung out. I enjoyed hanging out at all the malls during that time. Because you know, that's where people went. If it got too hot, people would go inside the mall to cool off, and so that's where the action was. In the malls in the center court, there would always be something going on. There would be entertainment. There'd be concerts. I'm sure there many concerts took place in those center stages, right? Where the people are famous today, but they started their career right there in those malls of the Philippines. By the way, Terre Haute, Indiana. Okay, Terre Haute. So now listen here, Larry. Larry, here's the thing. Um, Lazy Larry, who ain't lazy. Um, Things are changing here in the U.S. Malls are being converted into surgery centers and hospitals and real estate offices and things like that. The same thing is not happening in Southeast Asia, and one of the reasons why it's not is because they're emerging economies is number one. They have emerging economies. They're starting to become more like the West was, say, 30 years ago. And so the malls aren't going to go anywhere. And the reason is because they have weather in their favor. Quite frankly, people go to the malls to socialize, and they go to the malls to get out of the heat. One thing I noticed about Thailand is that thing that I noticed about Thailand the most was that people come out later during the day, sleep during the day, and they come out later at night as things start to cool off, unless they have to go to work, unless they have to go to work. But as you know, same thing happens in the Philippines. If you can observe this, you can see them coming out of the call centers. They're working nights, and that's perfect because they're in a nice. They sleep during the day when it's the hottest. They come out and they work at nighttime, and so I think they have the best world going on there. And so I kind of think in retirement, I'm going to be the same way. I'm kind of seeing it ahead of time. I'm kind of predicting my own future, but I'm kind of thinking that life is really going to start for me, later in the afternoon as opposed to earlier in the morning. And I know I'm setting myself up for criticism. Oh, you're retired. You don't have to go out there and work. But I just like to. All right, hey, take care. Take care of your mom, Sammy. I appreciate you being here. Just like to point out that you know, culturally things are different in the Philippines, and I hope that we don't spoil the. I'm talking about Westerners coming in there, that we don't spoil what the Philippines has. That in that way, in that we import our Western culture along with it, because here the Westerners are trying to escape their own environment, and then we're coming into one in which they want to have a piece of Western culture themselves. And so I'm not sure how that's going to turn out. I'm not sure that that I'm going to get my dream. In other words, that things will catch up to me. Oh, okay. All right, Sammy. I enjoy going to dinners over fancy restaurants, which you have plenty of them in the Philippines. Thing is, they're hidden treasures. They're not going to be advertising, on television. You're going to run into them. You see, just in your walks down the Baywalk. Down heading down to the center of the town, going to the central or the public market. You're going to discover them, and so that's the beautiful thing about both Thailand and the Philippines is that you discover those things and you find out that you have a potential Michelin star restaurant, just you undiscovered, undiscovered. Hi, Seth. Thanks for being here. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Truly appreciate it. So, yeah, so, so here you would be criticized, you see, here in the States, you would be criticized if you're retired and you're waking up late every day, and you live your life, turned topsy turvy, like you're a night owl. I think one of the scariest thing for me, had I stayed here in the United States, would be getting into a routine of watching Netflix or something like that, And so I get up in the morning, get up late, maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And then the first thing I do is hit the easy chair and then turn on Netflix. Oh, it says something caught my attention, that I want to ask you about. So the hiking videos. All right. I got to ask this question because that one that I saw today looked pretty steep, where you're walking there around the lake. And so I just want to know if Martin hangs with you while you're venturing out. I know both of you have a certain amount of creative artistry in you. And so Martin, you said, was taking pictures. I know you were vlogging and doing and probably also taking pictures. But does Martin usually accompany you when you're traversing those steep steps? Because I would have gotten up to about halfway of one of those steps and I would have said, "Oh, I don't think I'm going any further." I kind of know what my limitations are, but I noticed also the dog that was with you. What's the name of your dog? Man, that's loud noise coming from outside. Anyway, your dog was kind of second guessing too on climbing up those steep steps, and you were giving your animal encouragement. Come on, you could do it. You could do it. So I thought I was like, oh no, if I'm Martin, I'm not going up there. No way, no. I'm gonna know what my limitations are. Lazy Larry says hi, by the way. Yes. So anyway, yeah, I am curious as to whether he follows you, whether Martin follows you up and down those stairs. Two of my older sisters like to stay up late and sleep in the next day. Yeah, see, I think in Thailand, if you're not working a 9 to 5 job, because they do have those jobs, it's very much like the West, but they're moving, they're moving through the sidewalks of Bangkok on their way to work. I mean, they make it, or the BTS, they make it like it's like a beeline, right? You could see who the office workers are, but there are plenty of people that are working nights because they're in the financial industry, and they're working the same hours that the stock market is open. They're working the same hours as the banking call centers in the West. And so those folks are getting up late in the daytime, which I think is perfect. And then they're heading off to work, and they're getting off as when things are still cool, during the daytime. Oh, wiggle. Okay. Wiggle. Oh, okay. So you had to encourage Wiggle, if I'm getting this right, you had to encourage Wiggle to climb up those steep stairs. You did fine, you did fine, but you traverse all over the place. I see you walking with ease all through everything, like it's nothing. So I'm kind of amazed at that. Oh, okay. So he hikes a lot with walking sticks. See, that would be me. That would be me. I would have to have a walking stick. I once, in fact, it was in Thailand. I can't remember where I was, but I was climbing the stairs to one of the Buddhist temples. I think it was in I think they call it the Golden Triangle, right? So I was at the border. I was at the border with Burma or Myanmar, and they have that big Buddha, the big temple overlooking the Mekong, right? And overlooking Burma, and I had to climb it. I had to get up there, I got about halfway up there and I was like, oh man, I ain't as young as I thought I was. I had to slow things down, take it easy, and I could feel the tugging and pulling in the backside of my leg. So I know what that meant. So I had to take it really slow and really easy. Of course, my wife keeps telling me, man, you got to get out there, you got to start walking. And we will in the Philippines. I mean, every time, we go to the Philippines, it's more walk than anything else. So I start losing weight really, really fast. Oh, you do a steep hike? No, no, thank you. No, not unless I got there and I got into shape. I mean, really got into shape and conditioned myself. It's not something that I know that I could do right away. I'd have to condition myself. I don't have any major health issues going on that would prevent me from doing that. It's just a matter of conditioning. But I think in that regard, I'm kind of a flatlander. I went to, like, for example, I've been south to Mindanao and Davao and around there, and I didn't find it as pleasurable of an experience as being on flat land. I really appreciated being on flat land. Yeah. Yeah, see, there you go, lazy Larry. I have an ally. Those hikes would kill me. Me too. But hey, doesn't mean I wouldn't do them. Doesn't mean I wouldn't try them. I would give it a shot, but I condition myself first to do it. The first walk when we get to Bye Bye Leyte is walking to the Dunkin' Donuts. Everybody knows that. And you have to, the only problem will be keeping me away from the Bavarian cream donuts. That's the thing. The chocolate covered ones. Most people don't know that story. See, I believe that says is right. Yeah, you probably can do it. Most of us probably can. We just have to, we need practice. Going for walks every day is one thing that my wife suggests that we do when we get there, and I'm all for it. We gotta do it. And your dog's adventurous. Yeah, I noticed the dog was very curious. The puppy was having. They were having kind of like their own adventure. Oh, I got an idea for you, Sess. Yeah, this is going to be fun. You need to put a doggy cam on the dog. You need to, when you take the dog for a walk, put a doggy cam on the dog, and then you could show that video. I don't know why more people don't do that on YouTube. Maybe they do, and I'm just missing it. But that would be really, really fun to put a camera on a dog and then just kind of unleash it and let the doggy go, and then come back and download what information was gathered from where the dog did and where the dog's journey took him. That would be really, really fun. Oh, that's what I bet. I think Sess told us how much he weighed one time, and I can't remember. 96 pounds, something like that. I don't even remember. When I first met now keep in mind, my wife has been here in the States for 15 years, right? 16 years, maybe a little bit longer. Anyway, so when she got here, she weighed all of, I think it was 91 or 92 pounds, something like that. And so, and she maintained that weight for several years, even after looking at all, getting exposed to all this stuff, all the fast food restaurants, all the abundant food that I mean, her eye, for at least the first couple of years, her eyes were like this. Just could not believe the way that we live here in the States. And now, let's see, so we're 16 years later. So, yeah, 16 years. She weighs somewhere between, I think she weighs about 105. And so that's the damage that living here in the States did to her. Not much, I guess. she she's amazed at how much I weigh and how much I eat. She's always saying, "Hey, you gotta watch that a little bit. You gotta start backing off on the food. My weight has gone up and down over the years. But I don't think I've weighed less than 180 pounds ever since I've been an adult. And I think I'm about 215 right now. And I went in for my annual health checkup with my doctor in preparation for leaving. Making sure that I don't have any major issues going on. And the doctor was pretty clear, man. You need some lifestyle changes going on in your life. You need to move. Oh, really? You look pretty in your picture. You look pretty good though. In any event, Larry. So that's a good thing anyway. But I'm kind of thinking that there are many more of us that are in that boat than not, because they say that obesity is on the rise here in the United States, and you know what? That's part of Western culture. What do they call it? White bread culture. And the thing is, things are changing. Also, the thing that really bugs me also is that, yeah, it's hard to get things under control. In fact, they're making a concerted effort. Manufacturers of mass-produced food and things like that, and industrial farming. The people are demanding, a little bit more attention to the QC, quality control, and to get those things under control. Not to put so many pesticides in the food and all this other stuff. But the thing is, if you look at what's happening in other parts of the world, they're actually adopting our way of farming, industrial farming, feeling that it's motivated by profit, I think. So they're going to be looking at ways to grow food the quickest, and more abundant, more yield, quicker you could do it. We have a university just down the street here. It's called it's UC Davis, and it's an agricultural university, and this is what they study. They were the home of that thing called Flavor Saver Tomato. I don't know if you remember this, but it was how to make a juicy, firm, restaurant quality tomato that slices in the slicer without turning to mush. They were successful doing it. I'm not going to lie. It makes a beautiful tomato. It makes a delicious tomato. But hey, what's in there? Who really knows what's in there? One time they designed one that was square so they could put it in a box where they could neatly fit all the tomatoes into the box where they wouldn't have any empty space, increasing the number they could put in the box without damaging the tomatoes. Unfortunately, they did research and determined that consumers weren't, so happy with eating a square tomato. Now check this out. They love square hamburgers, like at Wendy's, like you get at Wendy's. They just weren't happy with having to look at a square tomato. So that's a true story. That's a really funny one. Oh yeah, you do. By the way, I was going to mention that when you shared the age, when you shared your age with me, I couldn't believe it. I'm telling you, and the fact that you're continuing to work. But here's the thing: I have always been an advocate of people working as long as they possibly can. And the opportunity today is greater than it's ever been, that you can choose the time in which you decide not to work. And so people are, folks, for people living in the Philippines, I'm telling you, I'm ashamed of it, but that we're going through a mass resignation cycle right now, and there are no job shortages here in the United States right now. They're trying to figure out how to backfill all these service positions that are being vacated by people. And the only way they can do it, they think they can do it, is by increasing the work visas, the people that they allow to enter to take jobs that Americans are leaving so fast. Believe it or not, they're calling it the Great Resignation. Oh, hi, Mel. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry to hear about your husband's uncle. My condolences to you and your family. And hello to you, Lazy Larry. You had to catch Mel's live stream. I don't know if you've been able to catch it, Larry, man. If you really want to, if you want the whole cultural experience of what it's like, you know, living in the Philippines in the province, then you check out Mel's channel. And just one more thing, right? The best part of her channel is her singing. I'm telling you. I don't know if Mel, I'm sure Mel recognizes it, but man, she sings beautifully. And so, but you'll also get a flavor of what's going on in the province because of the sights and sounds. The sounds, if you're keen, if you're a good listener, you're gonna hear things going on in the background that's going to give you a taste of provincial life, what it's like living in the province. I know, thanks so much. I'm telling you, the sharing of the videos and the streams and everything is a tremendous boost. People are joining every day, and the channel's growing. And I know that once we get over there to the Philippines and Southeast Asia, is just going to continue to grow. Oh, really? Well, check this out. We have something in common, right? My mom is still with us also. Now, genetics plays into this, I'm almost sure. Good genes, right? Genetics has to play into this. My mom, well, here's the thing. I'm not sure my mom would appreciate me sharing her age, but you and I have something in common, you see. That is that our mothers are still with us. And my dad would probably still be here if he hadn't smoked. My dad smoked like a chimney, and so my dad had no regrets when it was his time to go. He never said, "Oh man." I never heard my dad apologize at all to anybody for smoking or doing anything like that. I think that's something that my dad and I have in common, is that we've accepted our fate. We kind of accepted our fate in life. In other words, he knew that what the risks were to smoke, and I know what the risk. I'm addicted to several things. Food's number one addiction. People don't think that food is, but it is number one. And number two is coffee. I can drink gallons of coffee a day. I'm telling you. If you see me without my coffee cup, it is a rarity. It's absolutely a rarity. Oh, you did? Okay. Oh, he does. Okay, that's great. I'm glad you guys got together. One thing I've learned about Lazy Larry, especially when he starts showing up on different people's channel, I get the sense that he's an extremely compassionate man. I learned that about him a long time ago. It's interesting, but you think you can learn. I mean, I could be wrong, but you think you could learn people's personalities by viewing YouTube, and I'm almost certain that you can. even though some people become offended when people start approaching them, talking to them like they're friends, best friends, I never am. What you see is what you get in me, and I am positive the same holds true for Lazy Larry. What you see is what you get. The person that you think that I am is the person that I am. She sings like a bird. She's Filipina Idol. She is Filipina Idol. I'm telling you. It's beautiful. Yes. Well, you do have such a beautiful voice. What are we going to do? Oh, thanks. Thanks, Mel. Mel's always there. Even if Mel doesn't comment, I know she's there in the background. And if she's not there in the background, she's there in spirit. Me, I can't, here's what happens to me. When Mel live streams at any time of the day or night, right? She'll be up late. She'll start live streaming. I'll look on my phone. I'll see Mel, I'll see Mel there, and then I'll go and I'll be like, getting rest. I'll be sleeping. I have to get up, get to work. But she's there. She's there live streaming, So, oh, okay. Well, I come from a large family, also, and that would be I have so it was 5 boys, 5 girls, and so people at work anyway, people that I work with every day say it's easy to tell that I am the middle kid. So you think they're paying me a compliment, Larry? Hey, do you think the people are paying me a compliment? They're saying it's easy to tell, Dan, that you're the middle child. That you're the third or fourth born. Out of that family of 10. That irritates me, though. I'm telling you, but it's true. Thanks for your support again, Mel. Thank you, Mel. Let's see. No, what do we do? Yes. Yeah, and so I think about this. So Melanie has got me thinking a little bit. So all my brothers and sisters are still with us, and I dread, having to deal with the loss of a loved one. I dread it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm like most people. I haven't had to go through or experience it, with the exception of my father, and so, my mom and I, we've talked a little bit about this over time, talking about the worst possible scenario that one of us goes before she does, and I know it bothers her, and she doesn't really like to talk about it much. Oh, the day was great, except for the live stream got off to a rough start because Windows decided to update at the same time I went live. And also I was trying to use my green screen to get a virtual background, and I had a double failure. So I was late getting everything all figured out to come back in and do the live stream to correct everything. I was frozen like this for a good 15 minutes. Here I am like a mad professor, clicking buttons, cranking things. I could not get the thing to work. It took me a good 5 minutes just to figure out what happened, that Windows was updating and that it picked the wrong time to do that. And then my computer was sucking up the memory on the virtual background. And so that was a dismal failure, but I got a ton of memory on this machine. So I think more or less it was the Windows update that got me. I don't know what my YouTube channel is going to look like after this. I probably am going to have 3 or 4 or 5 live streams up there, and I'm not technologically advanced. I'm going to have to go in there and figure out how to delete those failed attempts. But anyway, you live and learn, Mel. I want a simpler way of doing this. I'm not sure if I could find it or not. Okay, three of your sisters are older, and one is 7.5 years younger. You, that makes you pretty close to being the middle child, huh? So, uh, I kind of had a feeling we had some commonalities going on. I think we have a love fest going on here. Three brothers and four sisters, and they're all still with us, so that's a good thing. Oh, she's doing fine. I think she's in the bedroom right now doing videoke, or she's watching me. Oh, that's probably what she's doing. She's probably watching me to see if I'm saying anything nice about her. Oh, hey, by the way, so I got thinking about something today, Mel. I got thinking about some things that I could bring for you when we come to Bye Bye Latte. All right. One of them is this. I don't know if you know what this one is, right? Let me see. Uh, all right. So, uh-huh. Someone told me I need a whole bunch of these. I need to bring a whole bunch of these to the Philippines. So is that right? Should I be bringing some of these? Because some of this stuff, I'm gonna use, and then I'm gonna give some of it away as a gift. So I had that on my list. I have some of my Filipino friends. They're writing down things that I should be bringing. Let's see what else they tell me. Okay, I've got these alcohol swabs. Let's see. I got aspirin and ibuprofen, and let's see, a whole bunch of other things that are going to be going in Balikbayan box. Different types of cancers, and so you must get checked. So so I mean, that would prompt me to if I had the opportunity, I would be going to the doctor and having these different things checked out, depending on which, what they pass from. So okay, so I mean, since we're talking frankly about this stuff, I've had the entire machine, examined, looked over, from head to toe, and they don't see anything in there. And I mean, I'm talking the CT scans, the MRIs, the colonoscopies, the this exam, the that exam, and they don't see anything. The probability of me having something like malignancy is something like, they gave me the probability, and they said basically, you don't have anything now, but it doesn't mean that you won't in the future if you don't change your eating habits. That's basically what they told me. Something that I already know. And so, processed foods, don't let anybody kid you. They're a source of a lot of disease, and cancer being one of them. Oh, you're going to buy some green mango. Hey, I enjoyed your people like this, Mel. You have your pulse on what people are looking for. I'm gonna tell you something. The ride, when you're in the trike and you're riding towards Bye Bye City, people want to see that video. They want it. They want to see that video. You did a great job. They want to see you journeying down there to the market and shopping, and they love to see the vibrant colors of those fruits and vegetables, I discovered. That's right. They're all in a safer place, and hopefully a nicer place than the challenges that we face here on Earth. And that is the other thing that I struggle with. Alcohol swab is like for cleaning out a wound or something like that. you get a scratch, you get something like a bee sting, and when you're extracting, let's say the stinger, oh, by the way, it's not it hurts like hell, but it sterilizes the wound. Use it before you bandage something. And Larry wants to know if the green mangoes, are they the sour ones? And she says that she loves the ripe mango, really love eating green mango. Yeah, green mango. I don't know if I've had green mango. I love I love mango shakes. That's all I know. What kind do they use in the mango shake? I think the green mango, they're a little bit sour, right? Like Larry was saying, but I love papaya salad. I love mangoes. I love, um, you know, all the different varieties of banana they have there. I'll tell you the one that really, really puzzled me when I first got one of my first trips to the Philippines was the little snack, the little fried banana. That was amazingly tasty. So he to get this to give you an idea. So here in the U.S., right? They probably spend years trying to figure out how to get that flavor in a pastry. But here's the Philippines. They're frying bananas and serving them as a snack, and you're getting that delicious pastry flavor that bakers here in the United States, they try so hard to replicate, to duplicate that flavor. Oh yeah, salt and chili, and so we do that here in the states with different fruits. Where we add the salt and the chili to give it a bite. Like for example, I'm just trying to think. Pears, pears will I'll eat that way. I suppose apples, green apples, I'll eat that way on occasion. And so it's very, very yummy, very tasty. Wow, that's very, very strange. So those are things for you to look out for, um, Lazy Larry. That's very, very interesting. Skin cancer, man. My wife and I, we have conversations about skin cancer all the time, about how I'm going to be protecting myself in the Philippines. And right now we've been getting on ordering the, the suntan lotion. They say zinc is the best, but zinc looks white when it's going on, and it doesn't. You're not supposed to be rubbing that stuff into your skin. You're supposed to be using it as a topical, topical thing. It's actually visible. And I was just thinking that, I'll probably be taking long. I hope I don't look corny, but it doesn't matter. I'm an old man. But I'm going to go there. I'm going to probably get polo shirts, long sleeves, and I'm going to get a floppy hat and wear it when I'm outside, because I that's one of my greatest fears, that you just hit upon right there is protecting myself from getting skin cancer. The yummy bananas that you serve up for a snack, that is heaven. Okay, so right now it is 8:02 p.m. And so it's almost bedtime for me, believe it or not, because Minnie, she gets up early in the morning, and I drive her to work. Fortunately, work is just it's just around the corner from this apartment that we live in. Yeah, I think chili, I'm thinking she's talking about like chili that you sprinkle like the seeds, or are you talking about hot sauce like Tabasco sauce or sriracha sauce or something like that? But I think you sprinkle it on. He's probably talking about. I'm thinking the ground. The way that we have the. It's. I think I have some in the cupboard. It's ground chili that we put on the fruit. Ground chili. Yeah, long sleeves and a wide brim hat, or a safari hat. Yeah, I'm too old to worry about what people think I look like. I know in the Philippines that it's probably not common to see people dressed like that. But hey, I really don't want to take any kind of chances. I see these youngsters walking around Thailand, the Thailand vloggers. You have some youngsters and they're walking around. They're just wearing like baseball caps and stuff like that, and short sleeve shirts and shorts. And I'm like, not a fan. I'm thinking to myself, man, walking around like that takes its toll on you when you get older. And so I wish I could just, you know, convince folks when they're that close to the equator, or anywhere now, because it's happening here in the States. Also, skin cancer is on the rise, and you need to send your kids to school, well covered these days. And definitely, the closer you get to the equator, you should be wearing body armor practically. Oh, that's great. Well, it's yeah, you know, better late than never is where I'm at, Mel. But the Philippines is improving a lot uh, as far as the delivery of medical services and things like that. And so I'm glad they have programs, where you can go to the gym and they can give out some free medical care. We do that here in the States in poor neighborhoods where people don't have adequate health care. They send the doctors and the nurses around, a couple times a year to give them dental checkups, eye checkup, and things like that to make sure that they catch things that are happening early. Oh, okay. You were talking about the soup. Yeah. So yeah, we make chili like a soup. That's right. Well, they have all kind of food that are like that, of course. Uh, Lazy Larry in the Philippines, they have all kinds of different things that are very, very similar to chili. 40 days left. And how much time? Hey, why don't you take Dodger Blue? Why don't you take a guess at how many days I have left? Okay, so my retirement date is a moving target. But you see, I'm gonna be retired by the end of March because of the way the pension system works here. If you retire by the end of March, March 31st, then you get a 2% cost of living adjustment the following July 1st. I have no idea why it works that way. So that means that if I didn't retire this March, I would have to wait another year, right? So anyway, but I got a lot of time, not meaning to brag. You probably have a lot of time too, but I got like 1,000 sick hours. I got 400 vacation hours. The 400 vacation hours is the maximum that they'll allow you to cash out when you retire. So I've been keeping it there for a couple of years, because I didn't know when I was going to go. And but that time can be spent in that last week because it all gets cashed out and put into your retirement, uh, into your 457k. Well, anyway, the other folks wouldn't know what I'm talking about but you probably would know. And they put it in tax free, that terminal check, the last check before you retire. That means I can go, anytime during the month of March. So without giving it away, March 31st is my retirement day, the end of the day, the end of the working life. So, oh, you use chili powder when you make your own chili soup. Okay, man, I'm telling you, uh, I hope that I start cooking again when I get over there to the Philippines. That's one of my passions. I cook a little bit now here, right? Um, when I get motivated, I'll slap stuff together. But man, I really love to cook. And so I'm looking forward to it. But my wife is telling me, no, 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 the men don't, the maid and the family members are going to want to take care of you. They're not going to want to see you in the kitchen. They'll think it's weird. Hey, Dodger Blue, I'm your first subscriber. I'm already subscribing to your channel. Dodger Blue, you need to fire it up and do one video. Do a Dodger Blue video. That's my recommendation there. Yeah, in the gymnasium. So when Coach Mav sends me videos from Bye Bye, there's a lot of stuff going on in that gymnasium. For example, he said, I think he was telling me they were doing flu shots the other day there. Did he? No, I have a video where they were doing flu shots. I haven't edited the video yet, but I'm going to do that soon and then post it. Chili peppers with stir fry. I love it. I love doing that. I love chili. Yep. Chili was really good. Hey, you guys are making me, I'm getting hungry, but it's late here. Oh, okay. Well, we enjoy having you. We enjoy having you. Yeah, the live streams now sometimes happen when we're sleeping. But like I say, I'll get a ding, I'll get the notification on my phone. I'll go, oh, Mel's on, and then I'll be dreaming. I'll actually fall asleep dreaming about a live stream. That's pretty funny. Yeah, there you go. So I don't have that. Let's see, they don't let me convert my sick time to money. I have to take time, but the time is worth something like, I think they told me the other day it was like, the value of it is like $75 per month. But that's forever money, that's the whole thing. But I balanced it, I burned some time up, and now I have that 1,000 hours of sick time that's going to be converted to service credit. And then this vacation money is gonna. I don't think it's as much as, it's not 27,000. I know that would definitely catch my attention, but it'll get me through the first couple of years of living in the Philippines. I hope. Yeah, time is the enemy. That's where I'm at with it, Lazy Larry. I would love to cook. Don't cook as much as when I was a youngster. But time is the enemy. We have to work. We have to work. We have to put food on the table. We have to go out and kill the elephant and bring it home for the family to eat. The elephant, where did that come from? The mastodon? Yeah. Yeah, sure. Of course you can. Anytime. Drop your link. Anybody can drop their link if they want to. You got a link? Drop it. Yeah, and I'm still. Do I have you mixed up with someone else? What kind of work are you doing right now? You're doing 3 to 11, but let's see, Jerry. I think I'm always mixing you up for some reason with Jerry. Somebody is working in the call center. That's all I remember. Someone's has a very similar job to mine, where they're working in social services in the call center. So I never really have revealed what I do for a living, and I think you guys, would it be shocking if I revealed what I do for a living? Because I definitely don't pound nails. So I'm not pounding nails, right, for a living. Okay. If it's okay, Dan, Philippines, no worries. I know that sometimes we're not. I know that you were always there. That's right. I'm always there, and I'll always try and the next day, when I wake, I'll always try and catch up with you, and I'll put a comment there, or I'll watch the video, to see what you're doing. I really enjoyed the one where you're in the trike going to downtown Bye Bye Leyte. Oh, security. Okay, um, hey, it's something that I've been thinking about. So I have in California, you have to get your guard card right through Consumer Affairs, state of California. Well, so I've held my guard card since I was my security guard card since I was a little kid. Since I was 18 years old, that is the job that I did that got me through college. And so listen, this profession is near and dear to my heart because this is how I got through school and made my way through the roughest times of my life. But check this out. State of California changes the way they renew those licenses. Mine was always current, and then one day they send a letter saying, that your license has expired because you didn't pay the fee. I paid the fee. I paid it through the mail like I usually do by sending them a check, and so they canceled my license. I couldn't believe it. I carried it straight through and renewed it every single year since I was 18 years old. And I full well was intended on having that license until the day I left this planet. Here you go, Mel. So anyway. Oh man, you must be management, Dodger Blue. That's the only way that happens. 50% payout on sick leave and 100% on vacation comp time. You have got to be a manager. I'm a frontline worker, so there's the difference. Oh, so now the truth comes out. The truth comes out. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, New York, you have to get through the state. Yeah, and you do in California. So they went to an online system where you pay it online, right? And so I didn't know that. I wasn't notified. So I sent mine through the mail. I had the canceled check for my renewal fee. And I sent them a letter with a copy of that canceled check showing them that I paid it. And they would not restore my license. And so now I have to go back. You have to go through training again through school. I had gone through the first couple levels of the police academy. All those certifications expired because they didn't renew my license. I would be out there, brother. If I were standing here in the United States, I would have been out there with you, doing this job through retirement. I mean, I would have maximized my, the income potential by going back to this work. But yet, yeah. Oh yeah, we've talked. So you're near, you're outside of Albany. And that's one of my, of course, you already know I lived there. I lived outside of Albany for a little while in that little township called Colony. So I know what I know what New York's all about. I love it. Oh, hey, thanks so much. Mel's here, Yeah, Mel's here. Many years of being in the trenches. Yeah, so they say. Yes. Once a manager, always a manager, my friend. No, that's Hey, you revealed it. You voluntarily revealed it. Yeah. Well, it works the same way. It works the same way for where I work. Thank you so much for sending out those links. I really appreciate it. Hey, I catch up with you guys too. Whenever I whenever I'm free, man, I'm on the phone. I'm giving the thumbs up. I'm putting my comments in. Oh yeah, yeah. And thing is, it's hard to find people that can deal with people. That's what we got going on. It's hard to find people in that field, that are able to uh, talk to people, de-escalate situations, reason with folks. It's hard to find people, and that's why they have a lot of turnover here in California in that field. Hi, how are you? Thanks for joining the stream. I truly appreciate it. How are you? Thank you. Thanks for joining the stream. Hey, thank you so much. I'm always afraid that I mispronounce the name of your channel. It looks like it's Payat Akko, and so I hope I pronounce it right. I've tried a couple of times, to pronounce it. And I'm thinking, I hate to mess it up, but hey, I'll learn, when I get over to the Philippines. My wife is already kind of criticizing me for not learning the language quickly, but I will, I will once I get over there. Thank you so much for everyone providing the support that you have. So once I'm hopeful anyway that once we start on the actual journey of getting on the plane and coming over, that'll be an exciting, time to get the camera going, get the YouTube videos going and showing that transition from moving from the United States over to the Philippines. It's going to be a very interesting and exciting period of time in my life. Yeah, I know that's all you, Mel. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All of those accounts are yours. I didn't know that. I thought I was talking to somebody different all those times. But anyway, so yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be really, really interesting to do a video diary of those journeys, and so, but I'm looking forward to it, and all the way, the entire adventure, whatever move or mistake we make, we're going to be documenting it on YouTube for everybody to see, including starting out with how you get into the country. So under this new schematic, because it's so new. But anyway, we're not leaving in February, so I mean we have plenty of time in order to figure everything out and to make mistakes and stuff. There you go. Got a new subscriber, Mel. Dodger Blue. Yeah, I know. The thing is, Bye Bye is growing so fast, and like I said earlier, Mel, I worry, a little bit because, the whole idea behind me moving to the Philippines. I'd said many, many times before that I don't want to go over there and disturb, the culture. The culture is the reason why I want to move there. The people and the culture, the way of life, is preserved. But yet, when I look around Bye Bye, I see roads being built, a new mall being built. I see new sidewalks going in, new water lines going in, new crosswalks going in. I mean, all that stuff is scary because that's the stuff that I'm trying to leave, And so all those things, those infrastructure improvements, they cost money, and then they have to pay for it, and that means the cost of food starts to go up and starts to climb, and it messes things up for the locals. It messes things up for the people that were born and raised there. And so that's what I worry about. And then Bye Bye is like, it's a place where that it attracts the attention of us expats. As you know, Mel, there are a whole bunch of expats, that are now living in Bye Bye City. They're coming from everywhere going there. And the reason is because I think the reason is because Cebu and other places they're too expensive to live. I know there's been this big controversy, guys, about um, you know, where you can live and how much it costs and all this other stuff. But here's the bottom line. Here's where I'm coming from, so you understand this. So if people are moving here because they have 8 or 12 or $1,500 a month in income to spend, but it doesn't matter. You still would have that same amount of money if you were living in the United States. All people are searching for is a more comfortable retirement life, some place that they could go to where they could afford to live, a decent life, because they have limited income. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And listen, you probably on that kind of money would have a very miserable existence staying here in the United States because things are so uber expensive. They're so crazy expensive here that 8, 12, or $1,500 a month would not go very far. And so you're looking for a refuge, a safe place to call home that you could live the rest of your life. And you certainly can do that in the Philippines. You certainly can do it in Bye Bye City Leyte. I know people are talking about, no, don't come here unless you have this much money. No, don't come here unless you have that much money. That it doesn't matter, because they're living on that kind of money here in the States, and they're living a miserable existence. And so that's why people go to the Philippines, along with the fact that it's a beautiful place, it has beautiful people, and the rest of it, is sort of like a bonus when you're living on 8 or 12 or $1,500 a month. But things are getting expensive in the Philippines. They're going up every day. They have inflation there. They've been hard hit because of the COVID and Odette, coming through, making everybody's life miserable, and that has caused the price of goods and services to spike. So it thinking about this stuff makes me a little bit uncomfortable. And so there's but yes, there's a lot of need there, but the salary is so small, and that's because they have an abundance of labor. And the Philippines, I mean, for all the good things that are happening there, one of the things that is not so good maybe is that they have an abundance of young labor. And so when everybody is fighting for the same job, when you have more people than you have jobs, they compete, and it keeps the wages low. The amount of money that they pay you keeps them low. And so that probably will be around for a long time. And until, there's a shift in population or something. I'm not sure, but I know they're so expensive, and I feel badly. But you have an opportunity, and that is to get on YouTube and get the channel going and keep working it and working it until it gets monetized to the point where you're able to make a living. And then also, you can count on fellow YouTubers to send you, some money once in a while, because they're supporting your channel. And they want you to be successful. And so they out of the goodness of their heart, they'll send money to that PayPal account. And so that I know keeps a lot of people on YouTube going. It's not just ad revenue. It's also that somebody will send you $5 or $10 now and again to keep you going, to keep the internet going, so you can keep your YouTube channel going. It's very important. But that's what I love so much about this community is the fact that, they do this. They do this. They will provide some level of support, whether it's sharing your channel, whether it's sending you money, whether it's um, providing some other aid for you, some kind of way. They're going to do it, and then they'll keep doing it as your channel grows. I, well, I'll tell you this, Dodger Blue, I'm good intentioned, and so I don't plan on sitting on my hands while I'm there. I want to actually contribute to, the welfare of Bye Bye City Leyte. I want to see it. I know that if it grows, in the long run, it's going to be a good thing for the local economy, and I certainly want to do my part to help those that are also less fortunate, and do the best that I can. Oh, I don't know if you know the story, Dodger Blue, but it turns out that Mel's husband is let's see, the relationship, you know, I'm not sure I understand, but my wife says that she is related to Mel's husband. Yeah, the gorgeous women help. That's for sure. After all, you're going 7,000 miles, across the world, right? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it helps. And that most of them sing. That's also very helpful. You'll never be bored, that's for sure. Not on a Friday or Saturday night. Uh, oh, thanks so much, Mel. Thanks. Oh, but it's going to go to my head. See, that's what the problem is. And besides that, I haven't always been the nice guy that I've become. Maybe I'm trying to earn my angel's wings, but I think age has something to do with it. You start getting older and wiser, and you start seeing the things that are more important. Is it mostly these important things don't have to do with things; they more have to do with people. Being nice and kind to people. So, and the things, you could pass on the materialistic things, I suppose. That's kind of where I'm at with it these days. And also, when you get older, problems seem to disappear almost like automatically, almost like time heals all wounds, that sort of thing, And so I've become a different person over time. Yeah, that's what I think, Lazy Larry. But hey, so I'm fortunate, or we're fortunate here in Sacramento because we have a very large Filipino population. And so if you want to see gorgeous Filipino women, it's just only a 10-mile drive down the street from where I live. So we have a Filipino town, and so you're gonna see, and you're gonna just get in the car and drive 10 minutes, and you're gonna be in Manila, little Manila, is what I call it. Jollibee's there, and Red Ribbon's there, and Chow King is there, and I'm telling you, wherever there's a Chow King and a Jollibee, you'll find Dan there. Uh, yeah, yeah, sing in a group. That's what I do. Sing in a group. Oh, thanks so much, Mel. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I really do. Well, see, Lazy Larry, they're all kind and caring. So they're all kind and caring. The whole difference between Western culture and Eastern culture, it's so different that it's like night and day. You still have very caring, loving women who want to protect their families and the men in their lives, because they acknowledge and appreciate the contributions that they're making to the household. And then on the other side of it, the females are appreciated for doing their part and making sure the home stays together, and whatever contributions that they also make. They're, I mean, a gal like Mel, she's one of the most innovative women that I think that I've ever met. I mean, she's like an idea factory. Mel is like an idea factory. It's amazing. But culturally, that's how Filipino women are. That's how they are. She's laughing. Yeah, but I don't think Lazy Larry wants to live in the Philippines. That's the problem, Mel. I'm not sure if he does or not. Maybe he wants to, but you know, he has mentioned a couple things to me in past vlogs. Well, hey, that's true, but hey, there are a lot of cynical people out there, and realize that finding the right woman it really isn't any different if you're in the West or if you're in the East. When you have the right one, you have the right one. You find the right one. And also, you're seeing this happen more and more in the States. You're seeing with the next generation, the ones that were born in 1985. What are they calling that generation? Well, it doesn't matter, but they tend to gravitate towards older men. And you're seeing sort of a cultural shift going on here in the U.S. as well. And so I think it's an interesting phenomenon. It's one in which I appreciate seeing. I didn't think it would ever happen, quite frankly, but I could probably, I'm a keen observer of the human condition, let's just say, because of what I do for a living. I'm able to see that there is this shift going on, and you're going to start seeing more probably of these younger women, older men type of relationships coming into view in the West, where this has always been, a cultural accepted part of the culture in the East. It doesn't matter really if you were in the Philippines or any other Asian country. Well, it does. There are certain countries that don't believe in those age gaps so much, So I could probably that are in Southeast Asia, but in the Philippines, you'll see this. In Thailand, a little bit, you're seeing it. And Thailand, they have a whole set of demographic issues that are affecting relationships. Where they don't have enough available men for women to marry, and so they don't necessarily. They're open to the idea of being with a foreigner, and that's about where it's at right now. And the Philippines, they always have been open to the idea, and the age gap thing has never been a problem because their focus has been more on, other things, the character of the person more than age. Yeah, you should go there, but I'm warning you, if you travel there, you will not want to return home. I'm warning you. Listen, I think you and I have a lot in common, and it'll hit you. It'll hit you while you're in the air. I'm telling you. All of a sudden, something will happen, and then it's almost like, it's like the air changed, in mid-flight. So if you do go there, tell me that didn't happen to you, because it's gonna happens to everybody. Anybody that's ever gone there that I've chatted with told me it happened to them. Yes, okay, family's everything. Family's everything, and I would be doing it this exactly the same way that you're doing it. So you need to be there with your mother. You need to be there. As a matter of fact, I love my mom. I probably am the mama's boy. You know, and it's a long story, but I just love my mother, and you know, we were talking today. As a matter of fact, we were talking. I wish I could share the conversation with you, but I just adore my mom. I mean, you have to respect somebody who could raise such a large family and keep it together for all these years. But my mom, she's having a wonderful retirement from raising kids, a wonderful one. Yes, be a good son to your mom first and foremost. Well, okay, well, you're closer than you're about as close as I am to my mom. I would have to jump on a plane or drive for about 6 or 8 hours in order to get to my mom's house. So everybody thinks California, you can go to Disneyland from Sacramento. Hey, let's go to Disneyland, be there in 15 minutes. No, it's a big place. It's a huge state, huge. Oh, before uh, before we call it a stream anyway, I wanted to share something. I wanted to share this shirt. There you go. That's funny, huh? that's my that's my official Filipino T-shirt. Oh, were you at Clark? Were you at Subic? Man, I'm telling you, you need to go back. You definitely need to go back. You need to go back to the places that you visited when you were in the Navy. I'm telling you, there is nothing like going back to Subic Bay or to Clark. I don't know where you were, but you probably were in Subic Bay. There's nothing like going back and having that feeling of recognition. You can still recognize some of the old landmarks. We will. Thanks so much for joining us, Dodger Bloom. We're going to count down those days for you. but but I think I may be on my vacation sooner than you're on yours. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I can't talk about the date because my coworkers are probably watching. So they're probably lurking in the background. So we wouldn't want to give it away. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us, Dodger Blue. You're true blue, you're Dodger Blue. 10-hour drive ain't bad. That's not bad. Nope, 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 nope. Yes, I'm telling you, there's nothing like going there and reliving it, man. It's hard not to, I wasn't in the Navy. As a matter of fact, my boys are vets. My boys, I have twin boys that served the Navy. I'm going to tell you something though. I've seen it. I've seen the look. I've seen the look. It's a beautiful sight. Yeah, I could tear up just thinking about um, the look on the faces. Once they head over to Clark and they start looking at the old barracks or the old hospital and Subic Bay, the old water treatment plant that they used to have there. I'm telling you, I've seen the look on their faces, and I mean, it brings tears to my eyes. You have to do it. You have to do it. Or uh, there's one other um, situation too that I've been trying to convince a friend of mine to do. So I work with a young lady who was a refugee during the Vietnam War, who spent time at Clark, and she travels all over the place, and she's been in the Philippines before, but she has yet to go back to Clark, where she was confined for a certain period of time until they figured out where they were going to move them around. She's been in. I think she was in Luzon. She was in northern Luzon. Then she was in Clark. I think she was in Diego Garcia for a stopover, which, has its own story there. And then they finally came to the United States. But I've been trying to convince her to go back, to go back to Clark. I would go with her. I would go with her and hold her hand to relive that experience. She wants to do it. She told me she wants to do it. But she probably won't do it until I'm over there, and then I can meet her there, and we can go around together. Okay, Dodger Blues out of here, and I think that's about it. Yeah, you'd have a wild time, I think you would. I think that you would. It's something that you got to do. It's kind of like going home. It's kind of like going home and going through the neighborhood and reminiscing about how it's changed, and then thinking back to the earlier time. I think you would really, really love the experience. All right. Well, it's time to call it a day. Call it a stream. So I really appreciate everybody that showed up, and I want to wish you well, and I hope that I could figure out what went wrong on my earlier stream so it won't happen again. It was quite embarrassing, but hey, I'm not the most technologically advanced person on the planet, so I will go and do my research to find out how to correct it for next time, and maybe I could get the virtual green screen to work. I'll try a couple of practice live streams and see if I can get everything working right. And we'll talk to everybody later. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Bye-bye. Bye, Mel. We'll see you on the other side. And take care. Everyone stay healthy. Plus, have fun. We're out of here.